Hold on. I'll distract them. Then you can fly this thing back to my castle in the wastes. Don't worry. Remember the ring I gave you? It will guide you back home. All you have to do is summon Calcifer with your heart. My uncle, who was a wizard, gave me this place as my private study. And now you can come here whenever you like.
Pretty cool. I like that. I like that.
198, take 3.
Master Howl, the king's messengers were here. They said you have to report to the palace.
But he was so kind to me. He rescued me, Letty.
It's really thrilling as well as scary.
That's amazing. That's great.
Howl won't come here. He doesn't need your help. He can fix his problem with his demon on his own. I'm certain of it.
Now I understand. You're in love with Howl.
Oh, bon appetit. I can't remember the last time we had a real breakfast. I took just like a muffin and a bottle of water, and I had to make all these slurping sounds because it was slurping down the eggs and bacon and bread and everything. It was a lot of fun.
What a tacky shop. I've never seen such tacky hats. Yet you're by far the tackiest thing here. It's the most fun to do something like this. When you see what the character is, that gives you an idea of the kind of sound that I should make.
She keeps staring at me. It's freaking me out. She's freaking me out with this staring at me. Hey, stare at something else, all right? Look at her. She's so weird. She's freaking me out with this staring thing, man. You ever saw a fire demon before?
All right, Calcifer, line her up.
Rarely do you find a film where you see something you've never seen before.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I love the animation because it's very magical and very psychological.
It's a magnificent piece of work. If you get a chance to do this, it's a great experience.
I'm out of here. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to Book versus Movie, the podcast where we read books that have been adapted into movies and then we try to decide which we like better, the book or the movie. I am Margo of coloniabook.com and I have a very special guest, co-host and good friend, Carola Hubbard.
Hello.
So Carola, for those of you who don't know, if you are in our Facebook group, which is just the Book versus Movie podcast Facebook group. And if you're not there, join us there. It's a very friendly place. It's a private group where we just talk about books and movies and have conversations about suggestions for upcoming episodes, stuff like that. And Carola is a member there. And she also happens to be, I think we have to have a better expression than oldest friend.
Oldest, bestest friend?
Because I have friends who are older than you are. But I don't have friends that I've had longer than you, I don't think. So Carol and I have been friends. I was just trying to figure out, it's like 37 years, something like that.
We were seniors in high school, so it was 1989.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. That's when I fell in love with you.
Oh, likewise. So, but you also have other stuff that you do besides make me laugh and chime in on the Facebook group. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Not very interesting, but I do have some tiny little things to plug, which is I have done one meditation video on YouTube, and it's under Montana Meditations. It has something like 30 views. And then I also have a tiny business on Etsy called Mother Hubbard Mugs, because I am Mother Hubbard. I am a mom of 3 kids, and Margo is their godmommy. And then I also have a tiny little podcast called the On Purpose Home Podcast, and it has 1 recording, and it is you can clean your house with me talking to you for 15 minutes. And those are my tiny plugs.
And well, so we should say, first of all, this is the first time hearing about most of this, just FYI. Now, are the Mother Hubbard mugs the same Mother Hubbard mugs that I have from like years and years ago?
They are not.
Oh.
But as soon as I get a fancy iPad, then they will be. So what Margo is talking about is that I took drawings that my kids did and put them onto mugs and gave those to friends and family. And I actually sold those. And but now it's all through Etsy and they make them for me. But I haven't figured out yet how to get that graphic onto a mug. And I'm tired of asking my kids for help. And they're tired of me asking them.
And regarding your podcast, and we'll link all this stuff in the show notes, by the way, regarding your podcast, Carrie, I will lapse into calling her Carrie instead of Carola. I'm like
You can call me
one
Carrie.
of the 4 people who call her that. It's because we were children.
Yes.
And Carola has years of experience as a professional organizer.
Yes.
And declutterer.
Yes.
And so it's not just like, hey, I'm going to help guys. I'm going to just talk for 15 minutes so you can clean your house. It is from a place of a lot of professional expertise. That's all I'm saying. And you picked, let's talk about, so today you picked Howl's Moving Castle, which is something that we'd never covered on the show in our 12 years, I think we're at now. Why did you pick this book and movie?
Margo, it's a very romantic story. I went onto the internet and I looked at what movies Netflix had that were also books.
Oh,
and I went, oh my gosh, I had no idea Howl's Moving Castle was a book. And I was like, I want to read that. So that is the romantic story.
It's great. Okay.
But I really did like the movie. Even though when I watched it this time, I realized I did not remember anything from the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
So, so it was kind of a shock to see it a second time.
And I don't even, and I feel so silly. You all, I know there are people who devote, there are film scholars. I'm sure there's courses at universities around the world on the work of, and I don't even, is it Ghibli?
Yeah.
Is it Ghibli?
Ghibli?
I
don't know.
So yeah, so very much from Amateursville, but some fresh eyes to this.
Yeah.
I did see it back in the day, and I forgot the whole plot of the film, apparently.
Yeah.
So it was all a surprise to me when I read the book. Let's talk a little bit about our author, because a lot of the folks that I would talk to this week when I was saying we were doing Howl's Moving Castle were like, oh, I didn't know that was a book. And I was like, yeah, I also did not know it was a book. It was assumed it's something that's so associated with Studio Ghibli that I just assumed that it was an original work of theirs.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, goes to show what I know. It's by a very famous author named Diana Wynne Jones. She's from the UK, poet, academic, literary critic, short stories. She's known for those a lot, although this is not a short story. Some of the other things that she's kind of known for are The Dark Lord of Durkham and The Tough Guide to Fantasyland. But Howl's Moving Castle is, I think, it's a series, I think, of 3.
Okay.
My understanding, but the first one, so if you've never read Howl's Moving Castle, you guys, it's about, I think it's like 400 pages, something like that. I started reading it on my Kindle. I was traveling a lot over the last month, and so I started reading it on my Kindle, and then at some point I switched to the audiobook. And it's so good. Did you do the audiobook?
Yeah, I only did the audio.
Fantastic audiobook.
Yeah.
What a great book.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how many hours it was, but
I
again,
want to
it's not
say
short.
It was like 9 hours. So not super long, but not super short.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, super good performance of the audiobook and a riveting story. And we were just saying before we got on the air, like, not really sure. Oh, let me tell you a little bit more about, let's talk a little bit more about our author. Diana Wynne Jones. I want to make sure I get all 3 names. So she was born in London. What year was she born? In 1934. So she was, and this is something we've talked about a bit on the show. It's come up in numerous books and movies that we've covered that during World War II, the children of London were evacuated to the country for their safety, which is just every time I can't even wrap my head around how
Yeah.
upsetting and terrifying for everybody involved that had to be. And that's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a story about children in that situation.
Got it.
So our author, Diana, was born in London, and she was evacuated. She must have been about, it says right here, shortly after her 5th birthday. She was evacuated to Wales, which is kind of significant for the story today, where she had a grandfather who was a minister. And that, as you can imagine, that experience made a tremendous, huge impact on her, being sent away from her family from the city of London to the countryside of Wales. People are speaking, they have a different accent, they have a different language sometimes. And her grandfather is someone in a position of power. He's a local minister. And apparently there was some kind of a disagreement in the family. And so they didn't stay there long. The children, she's moved to some other, she's moved around a bit after that. They take her out of that situation, and it's not really clear what happened. And then she finally ends up in Essex with her parents. They settled there. They left London, I guess, and they went to Essex, and so she eventually joins them there in 1943. So she's a lot of moving around. War is declared, ship the children off. She's with the grandfather. She says that it was a great experience, I think, if I remember correctly. And but then she gets moved around, and they land in Essex. So and then later, she's a scholar. She studied at Oxford and St. Anne's College, and she attended lectures by C.S. Lewis and Tolkien before she graduated. So there's all of that in the mix. Not surprising when you know her work. And so then she spends most of her career, I think, in Bristol, and that was where she died in 2011. And she's regarded stylistically, she's regarded as a postmodernist. Howl's Moving Castle is written in 1986, which is the height of like the whole postmodernism movement in everything, where postmodernism is it's a movement that happened after. So you have World War II, and then you have the modernist movement where everything gets very clean lines, machines, form follows function, and everything's about the new. Let's take all this technology that we developed in the war and put it to domestic life. And that was great. A lot of people really love modernism, myself included. But then a lot of people were like, yeah, but that only gets us so far. And so you have this postmodernist movement where you kind of have some of the principles of modernism, but we're going back in time and we're bringing pre-modernist elements into what we're doing. So the classic example, I want to make sure I have this right. The classic example of modernism is it's the AT&T building that Philip Johnson put up in New York City, which is this very modern, if you're standing on the street, it looks like a very modernist building, just, a cube that goes, a box, a rectangle that goes up into the sky. But then at the top of the sky, it has the how can I say this? The roof line mimics a Chippendale, like a Chippendale dresser. It has this kind of it's cleaned up, but also old, 18th century kind of detail at the top of it in a modernist way. Anyway.
That's fascinating, Margo.
So it's borrowing from all kinds of different cultures and timelines, and mixing it up in a post-World War II, postmodernist era, which makes a lot of sense when you read Howl's Moving Castle. There is a lot of that. So what we thought, we were discussing how we were going to, usually we talk about the book and then we talk about the movie and then we decide. But there's a lot of differences, and the book is much longer than the film. So I think maybe what we might do is let's go through the film, and then we'll just point out the things that are different, that are not in the movie, because they're significant, but kind of like all the choices that are in the movie myself. So let me play the trailer here.
Okay.
Let's play the trailer of this film. It's going to take me just a second while I figure out this tech here. Okay, yeah, there we go.
From master filmmaker Hayao Miyazaki, the director of the Academy Award-winning Spirited Away.
That is ancient sorcery. And quite powerful, too.
This summer, experience the epic tale of a young woman transformed by a mysterious curse.
No, that's really me, isn't it?
An enchanted moving castle.
This is a magic house.
And the one wizard powerful enough to set her free.
This charm will guarantee your safe return.
Walt Disney Studios presents a Studio Ghibli production of a Hayao Miyazaki film.
Hold on.
This June, journey to amazing new worlds.
Find me in the future!
Aboard Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay, so that is hilarious because just the ad itself has like such a time, like on a mountain far away
in a world where castles walk around on chicken feet. It's true. It's very dated.
Yeah.
I think that is the original trailer.
I wanted to say that when you were talking about the postmodernism, then it totally makes sense with the book where she is in this fairy tale land, but then there's also whales. And so, and it, you know, and now when you just,
and you're like, whales? And she's like, yeah, whales.
Yeah, really whales. And I do want to say that, like you were saying, I was completely surprised when I started the book that it took place in England, because in my mind, same thing. I just, in my brain, I was like, okay, this is, you know, part of the Ghibli world, and you know what I mean? And like, yeah, so I was so surprised that it took place in England.
It never ever occurred to me. So, the trail, even though it's dated, like I already can't wait to see this film again. It's so good. So Hayao Miyazaki is one of the co-founders of Studio. We're just going to go back and forth. We'll call it Ghibli. We'll call it it's like that little thing on your cell phone, that the little pictures that move. Is it a GIF? Is it a GIF? It's people can't decide. We can't decide. So sorry guys. I know some of you are just, I could just
what did the guy
the
say?
Comments, like,
I was trying to remember when he said it. He said Studio. Didn't he say Ghibli?
I don't know.
I'll get one of my kids on the phone.
I was dazzled by the graphics. So Hayao Miyazaki still with us. He is 84 years old.
Wow.
I mean, visionary, absolutely visionary. And he, you know, an animator. For you and I who grew up in the 70s, we grew up seeing his work all over the place. Puss in Boots, Gulliver's Travel Beyond the Moon, Sherlock Hound. I mean, and then they found Studio Ghibli in 1985. Again, the book comes out in 1986. I'm not sure what the first film is. Oh, it's called Laputa. I've not seen this one. Laputa Castle. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Laputa Castle in the Sky.
Wow.
Is their first film, I believe, in 1986. Their second film is My Neighbor Totoro, which is a
Yes.
favorite of mine.
Yes.
Then Kiki's Delivery Service. And so Howl's Moving Castle, they've already been making films for like 20 years when Howl's Moving Castle comes along. And so they're very I don't want to use the word not powerful, but they're established and respected and can call their own shots. Basically, they can be like, "You're not cutting my film, Mr. Weinstein," which is what I understand happened. So again, many people devote their scholarly careers to studying their works. They are a part of the world culture. One thing that he kind of always has and is always known for, and this is very important in Howl's Moving Castle, is that he always has things that are flying. Flight and flying is a recurring motif. His father was the director of an airplane company that his brother, his father and uncle owned and ran an airplane company that manufactured plane parts for World War II.
Got it.
And so although he's a pacifist, he's fascinated by flying machines and things that fly. So that's something that you're always going to kind of see in his work. And this is no exception because it's not really in the book. Yeah. But it is very much in the movie. So let's talk about Howl's Moving Castle. I love I think the trailer starts the same way that the movie starts, where it's just basically dead silence and then this like creaking mechanical sound. And we know that the film is called Howl's Moving Castle.
Right.
So when you see it, you're not like, what's that? You are like, oh, that must be Howl's Moving Castle, which is a great way to start the film. The book, it's interesting. It's not dissimilar insofar as the book opens in this
the hat shop.
In the hat shop, yeah, which is the name of the place is called Market Chipping. Hungary which is, if you're reading the book, you're like, oh, this is England.
Yeah.
But really the name of the place where they live is Hungary. And they live in this fictional town of Market Chipping, where there are witches and fairies and wizards and he's only one of several wizards that they know about. And they talk about Howl and the other wizards. It's just like you would, Mr. So-and-so down the street. He's just a part of their society. He's just part of their life. You have the wizards and witches and spirits and things like that. And in the book, we meet Sophie, who is 18 years old in the book, and she is the eldest of 3 sisters. And so that must have appealed to you because you're one of 3 sisters as well, although you're the middle child.
Yes,
And
I was
but there's
Letty.
Yeah, you were Letty. So there's Letty, there's Sophie, who's the eldest, and there's this whole thing in the book about her being the eldest. The eldest is Sophie, then you have Letty is the middle one, and Martha is the youngest one.
Yes.
And their mother has died. So none of this is in the film. Their mother has died. Their father remarries this woman named Fanny, who's not great, as stepmothers often are in stories like this. Fanny runs a hat shop and makes the girls work in the hat shop. And then the father dies. And Fanny's like, well, listen, I'm not going to continue to feed you 3 girls. Like, you're not even my real kids. Tell you what, Martha, you're kind of smart. You're definitely the smartest one. You're way smarter than the other two. So what you're going to do is I'm going to send you to my friend who's a witch, and she'll teach you how to be a witch. And I really love that we're using witch in the magical sense, but also in kind of the historic sense of a woman who is a healer, knows plants, knows science, and makes her living that way.
Yes.
And so because Martha's smart, she is sent to I think her name is Mrs. Fairfax, the witch, who's going to teach her to be a witch. And therefore she'll be fine. She'll make money. And Letty is sent to work in a bakery. Because I forget some reason, because she's not that smart. Oh, I know. I think she's not that smart, but she's very pretty.
Very pretty.
And the bakery will put her in front of a lot of men, and she'll be able to snag a husband that way if she works in the bakery. And Sophie, the oldest, is pretty useless. So she's lucky to have a job continuing to work in the hat shop for free. So that's what she does. And so the three girls are we think are doing their jobs that they've been sent to do. And Letty is really getting the short end of the stick here. Like, Fanny really takes advantage of her.
Sophie
doesn't pay her. It's an unpaid internship of indeterminate length.
Yes. It's
just, and but she's good at it. She's making the little hats, and when she makes the hats, she talks to them about like what kind of a hat you're going to be and what kind of a life you're going to have, and you're really going to attract the men, and people are going to think you're a silly stodgy person, or she speaks things to the hats. And at some point, so after this has been going on a while, she meets up with her sisters, and they're like, listen, Fanny is really taking advantage of you. And just so you know, she goes to meet her sisters, Letty and Martha, and who she encounters is Letty and Martha, but they've swapped their appearances because Letty is the one who wants to learn magic, and Martha wants to work in the bakery. So Letty learns a spell that will allow them to switch appearances, and that's what they do.
And Martha wants to have 10 kids.
Yeah, she wants to get married and have 10 kids.
10 kids. Yes.
Okay, Martha. I thought you were the smart one. Just kidding. But they say to Sophie, like, hey, Fanny's taking advantage of you. Like, she's really exploiting you. Maybe you should get out of here. But she's like, I don't know. And do what? Where would I go?
Right.
What am I supposed to do? And peppered into all of this is talk about the wizards, the witches. There's the Witch of the Waste, who lives out in this like swampy nowheres land, and everybody is afraid of the Witch of the Waste. The wizard Howl, everybody says, he goes out and preys on pretty young girls who are alone. He takes them and sucks the heart out of them.
He devours their
hearts.
Yes.
And then the other wizards but have their own things that they talk about. That's not important, because the ones we mainly want to focus on, the Witch of the Waste and Howl. So one night, this woman comes in, and I can't remember, is Sophie just like tired, or she just not happy with the hats that Sophie is showing her?
So in the book, she is grumpy and she is rude to two customers. And you know what? Can I go back to the beginning and just tell how the book presents the very beginning, just what you've said. So it was fascinating in the book that it immediately tells us we're in a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Like immediately it has these rules. You've got this like evil stepmother. Of course their real mom dies. And then what we don't know about is that part of this whole, fairy tale world is that the eldest, if you are the eldest of 3 kids, the rule is you're going to amount to nothing. And so Sophie, she babysat her sisters, and she just, felt like, I'm nothing really special is going to happen to me. And then the other rule is that the youngest one, so Martha, the youngest of the kids always becomes the most successful.
Right.
And so that's why, again, why the mom put Martha to get trained by a witch, because she was going to reach such grand heights. And so in the book, Sophie has just gone to talk to her sister, finds out that they switched, finds out that both of her sisters believe that their mom is taking advantage of her. And so she goes back to the house, the hat shop, and she's pretty grumpy. And then a very fancy woman comes in, and Sophie thinks to herself, this woman's too fancy. I'm never going to be able to find a hat for her. And in the book, she is very rude to her. She says, she's like, finally when she shows her the witch, but we don't know it's the witch yet, the fanciest hat, the witch says, oh, none of these will do. And Sophie says, well, what do you expect? We're a tiny little hat shop. Why are you even in here? And so the witch of the waste then does her evil
reveals
magic.
herself. Yeah.
Yes. And it's a little bit of a surprise, because we learn later on that the witch of the waste had it out for Sophie from the very beginning.
Mhm.
So in the book, it feels like the witch, and in the movie, that the witch of the waste is punishing Sophie for being rude. But there's this ulterior, there's
other stuff going on.
This other stuff going on.
Yeah. Now,
So-
in the film, though, the film opens up with Sophie's working in the hat shop. It's a happy hat shop. And there's like these other women who work there. Who are they, her sisters? We don't know, but they're these other women. And it's her mother, not her stepmother, who is running the hat shop. The father's gone. And yeah, so Letty's, and there's nothing about her being exploited. There's nothing, the whole thing about the two sisters, one going to the witch and one going to the baker, like none of that is in the film at all. We do meet Letty at the bakery. And they have that little talk, but it's not at all. It's actually Letty. It's not Martha posing.
Right.
It's none of that magical element yet, but then we just get right into it. And so then it's Mayday. And this is also in the book, where it's Mayday and Sophie goes out and she meets this very handsome, very dashing, there's a lot about like how good he smells in the book. Sometimes he smells like hyacinths, and sometimes he smells like roses, and sometimes it's lavender. Yeah.
So
And
funny.
so this great smelling guy who's very good looking comes along, and she, I can't remember what the exchange is that they have
in the book or in the movie?
In the book. But anyway, that's before she gets the curse
In
on
the
the witch
book,
of the...
it's tiny.
Yeah.
He literally flirts with
brief.
her, and then he goes away.
Mhm.
And you don't know, just at the very end of the book, Howl says, oh yeah, I met you that one time.
Right.
On page 3.
Right. It was super brief.
Yeah.
So then she gets this curse. She turns in, she looks in the mirror. She's aged, I don't know, what are we saying? 50, 60 years?
She's 90.
She's 90.
She's 90 years old.
She goes from being 18 to being 90. And she is not in the movie and in the book. And I think the movie does a good job. The scene in the movie where she gets the curse from the witch of the waste. And I want to just say, you guys, finding clips of this film that I could play for this episode, I don't know if it's because the film's so over 20 years old or what. It was very difficult to find clips. Everything was somebody's review of the movie. But the scene where the witch of the waste puts the curse on Sophie is very much like it is in the book. The way that the way they animate it is very much how the author describes in the book, and Sophie's reaction is very much the way it is portrayed in the movie as it is in the book.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention, let's talk about, so you and I, and speaking of the film, again, it's 2000, what did I say, 2004? And you and I both, of course, watched the version with the English dubbing. So let's talk about our cast, because they did not slouch on this
No.
vocal cast.
They did not.
I'm so glad. So
Yeah.
our Sophie, we have two voices for Sophie. Young Sophie is Emily Mortimer, who I don't really know.
When I saw her photograph, I've seen her in things, but I can't
have
tell you
too.
what. Yeah.
She was in Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with her work, but it's a very good vocal performance.
Yes, very good.
Old Sophie is played by Gene Simmons, who's absolutely, she's perfect. She's perfect. And they sound the same. They sound as you saw at the top, we played a clip of some of the dubbing that's happening, and there's scenes where and we'll talk about this choice in the film, which is not in the book at all, where Sophie goes, she kind of fluctuates. For us, she fluctuates from older to younger. Her age is kind of is going all over the place. It's very fluid sort of a thing. Doesn't always go completely back to normal.
Yeah.
So there are times where it's Gene Simmons' voice for one line, Emily Mortimer's voice for the next line, then back to Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
And it just it flows so naturally.
I thought it was the same actress.
It does
Honestly,
sound the same.
I did not, listening to it, I thought it was the same. Yeah.
The Witch of the Waste is voiced by Lauren Bacall.
Yes.
Lauren Bacall.
Yes.
Perfection.
Can I tell you that I watched an interview with the author, and she was talking about the movie, and she really liked the movie, and she said that The Witch of the Waste was based on an aunt or a grand aunt, but I think it was just and so the furs and the ostrich feathers and all this kind of stuff. She said that when the Witch of the Waste came into the hat shop, she was floored, because she said that was exactly what her aunt looked like.
Wow.
Like, the director got it perfect. And you know, obviously he didn't know it was based on a real person. So I thought that was really great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I'm just looking at who else we haven't. Looking
Christian
for
Bale.
Letty. Who does Letty? Oh, it doesn't even say here. But anyway.
Yeah, not famous.
So Howl is none other than Christian Bale. And so doing his best, it's a Howl / Bruce Wayne kind of accent.
I really liked him because a lot of times when people are doing voices in movies, my brain's like, who's that? Who's that? And in this, I did not recognize his voice at all. So I was not distracted with the face. And when I afterwards looked, it was Christian Bale. I was like, wow, that he did a really good job.
He did a really good job for sure. One of the things in the audiobook that's so good is Howl has a Welsh accent.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So similar to the book, in the movie, she's like, well, now I'm old. Like, nobody even knows who I am. I might as well blow this hat shop. Let me get out of here.
Yeah.
An element, though, that is happening in the film that's not in the book at all, though, is this whole looming thing about the war. That whole undercurrent of this war that's going on, and like wars do, like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to the normal people living their everyday lives, and they're just seeing these signs of it here and there, and it does give it this ominous
very much
feeling that works really well for the movie. The book has it, but it's in a slightly different sense. Like, there's this whole thing. Let's talk about the scarecrow.
Okay.
Because it's a similar scene. Like on paper, it's the same story where she's walking along. Like she finds this scarecrow. She's looking for a place where she can live as an old woman. Like, who's going to take me in as an old lady? And she finds this scarecrow and she's like, oh, let me just fix this. And she sticks it into a hedge. And then we don't hear about anything about it. It's different a little bit in the movie. Like the scarecrow comes right up and she's like, oh, we're friends.
Yeah.
In the book, the scarecrow is terrifying.
Yes. Yes.
He comes much later. He comes back way later. And she is like,
Yes.
what is this scarecrow doing here? And everybody's afraid of the scarecrow. What's he
Yes.
doing? What does he
Yes.
want? Why is he trying to get in? So he's not like the friendly, like, oh, you silly guy. But we don't need that because we have this war.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other stuff that's like scary and dark and
Yeah. And we don't know if Howl is safe or not.
correct.
We don't know what's happening with the Witch of the Waste, and will her curse be lifted from Sophie? And so yeah, there's a very ominous feeling in the book too, without the war element.
Yes. So for a lot of Sophie arrives at Howl and she knows where she is because it's a castle that moves around. People know that that's his castle. And her thinking is, if I can get myself into this castle and I'll just volunteer to be the cleaning lady, then who's going to look for me here? I'll be safe from the witch. The witch isn't going to bother Howl. And nobody else is going to bother me either. I won't have to go back to the hat shop.
And she thought she was safe from Howl because she was not a young, beautiful woman. She was an old, craggy woman. And in the book, it was hilarious because they did this in the movie too. But in the book, because you're hearing Sophie's thoughts, it was so funny when she turns old and she's like, okay, let's go. I'm going to leave the hat shop. And she's like, oh, my body hurts. And she's like, and she can't, she's stiff. And so she says that she did not have a concept of why like old people move slower.
Yeah.
And, groaned or whatever. But so in the book, she just keeps like learning about her body and being like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. And by the time she gets up into the hill, trying to walk away from her town, all she wants is a comfy chair and a fire. And that's it. And she doesn't care. And she just wants to fall asleep in the chair. And so then when she sees Howl's moving castle, she's like, I'm going after that. And in the movie, in the movie, the scarecrow says, come on, come in here. And she goes in there and, I know, I'm sorry. What I was going to say was that in the movie, she makes this one statement about being old, which is, oh gosh. It's something like, she says something like, it's so cold. My body's so cold. The wind is just whipping through this old body or something like that. So it's not that big of a deal that they're that different, but in the book, it was a real joy as my body's getting older to have a young person suddenly be in an old body and
go like, what is that?
Yeah. So I like that. So yeah,
I did too. And I love, the castle in the film is very much the way that it's described in the book, although even more so. Like the book doesn't say the castle in the movie, as we all know, because it's become such a part of our culture now.
Right.
The castle is up on these like mechanical sort of chicken legs, very much like in the story of Vasilisa the Brave. Remember that story in the Baba Yaga?
Yes.
And she lives in a house. The house is up on chicken legs.
Yeah.
And so I always thought that was such a great choice to have the castle be that. And
just the author wanted she envisioned the castle just moving on a cloud.
Right. Just sort of floating about.
Yeah. And she said that when she saw the chicken legs, she was like, that is a great choice. She loved it. So yeah.
It gives it more of a sense, like in the book, in the film, we have the character of Calcifer, who's this fire demon. Calcifer in the film is this adorable little
Voiced by
Billy Crystal.
I was so mad.
Why?
I was so mad.
Why?
Because he's so different than Calcifer in the book.
He is very different, but
Like
he also looks different.
He does, which
Yeah.
I was also kind of upset about.
Yeah.
Because again, with the ominous feeling in the book,
Right.
you're not quite sure if she's safe with Howl. And then she gets in this covenant with the fire demon, and you're like, you're falling asleep. You don't know what you're agreeing to. Like, what are you doing here? And so in the book, Calcifer is very grumpy and very and
scary looking.
Very scary looking. A lot of greens and blue flames, and he. At first, you're like, "Oh, this is scary," but then deliciously, he kind of turns into an Eeyore character.
Right.
And the whole time, the whole book, he's like, why are you making me work so hard? I'm the only one who does magic. Like, and so he turns into a delicious Eeyore character. But when the flame was red, and these round eyes poke out, and I was like, that's not my Calcifer.
Yeah.
And then Billy Crystal's voice, I literally turned to my husband and was like, Billy Crystal. Oh, I was like, that is
It's
not
true.
my
It's
Calcifer.
a very, it's a choice. It's a different, but again, because I think we have this element of the war.
Yes.
And these ominous flying machines.
Yes.
Who's fighting who? We just know people are getting rounded up, and there's talk of them warring against us or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's all of that scariness that's already happening.
And as a children's movie, I can totally understand switching that character. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So of course he's adorable. He's iconic. People love Calcifer.
And they love Billy Crystal.
So having said all of that, it's so that is a different totally different kind of choice than that whole
Absolutely.
exchange is very different. Has a very different feel, much more charming and cute and cozy than in the
Yes.
book. In the book, you're like, what is going, like, lady, come on.
Yeah.
There must be some other place. I love the whole scene where she's cleaning the house. That's very much like the way that it is in the book.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you, I just died in the movie because I help people declutter their homes when the house just gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and you hear about it in the book, but it's not the same as the
No, I do like it better in the movie.
We haven't talked about the artwork, and I know we're talking about the story, but the artwork was so beautiful. The scenes in the movie, just
It's
the
breathtaking.
lighting. I mean, just
And it really, look, it's 20 some years, 21 years, and totally holds up.
Yeah.
Could totally put that out today and
Yes.
people would love it.
Yeah.
It is. It's breathtaking. It's so beautiful. And it's not, especially in this age where everything is computer generated and we have AI and we have all of that stuff. It's used so artfully, like everything is just, all the choices are so well thought out. It's not showing off the technology as often happens. It's just really just serving the story and serving the story.
Yeah.
So another thing about that's very different, is not in the movie at all, is Howl's kind of whole MO. So Howl is very handsome and very vain, as if you've watched the film, that's true, but 10 times more so in the book. He spends hours in the bathroom.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
Preparing, getting the smell right, getting the hair right, getting the
Yes.
outfit right.
Yes.
Why? Because his whole thing that he doesn't, it's not untrue that he sucks the hearts out of girls, because he goes around and he makes these young women fall in love with him. And that's all he does. He finds a woman, and Sophie, we know in the book, you're like, oh, that's what he was trying to do to Sophie. He meets a woman, and he just goes after her. And then as soon as she's interested in him, drops her. destroys her life, and
Yep.
then he moves on to the next one.
Yep.
And we discover very quickly that the woman that he has his eye on is
Mhm.
none other than
Do you tell?
Sophie's sister, Letty.
Yes.
Or is it? Or is it? Because he says it's Letty Hatter. He says her name finally, that he's pursuing this woman, Letty Hatter. And
Yeah.
Sophie's like, oh no, it's my sister. Like, oh
Yeah.
no, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And so
And in the
young
book,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but so in the book, that is the reason that, as far as I can tell, that is the reason that Sophie stays in the house, because she's trying to find the enchantment spell
Exactly.
to take it away from Howl so that her sister does not fall for Howl.
Right.
And her sister will be safe and she will not
Right.
get heartbroken. But it is such a delicious, sorry, I'm saying delicious again. It is so fantastic in the book that we have this wizard that we're still not sure if he's safe or not.
Right.
But then he's like a freaking teenage boy and he's just bath after bath after bath. And you're like, wait, so we're in a fairy tale, but he's acting like a teenager, but he's, and he's wooing women. He's not eating their hearts. And it's, so it's love, the bathing.
Now, the other person who lives in the castle in the book is called Michael. If you like this film, you know that it's this little boy named Markle who is adorable. In the book, his name is Michael, and Michael is an apprentice wizard, and he is a young adult. He's not a child, but I love the choice to make him a child. I totally get why they did that. In the book, he has this whole storyline where he is in love with Sophie's other sister, who he thinks is Letty, but who is actually Martha.
Yes.
And over the course of the book, Sophie's like, oh no, what's he going to do? Because remember, the girls have switched appearances. What's he going to do when he finds out, like, that's not actually who he's in love with? He's in love with this other one who looks totally different. And she keeps kind of feeling him out. Like, what if she changed the way, she's awfully young and people change appearances as they get older. Like, what would how would you feel about that? She's constantly like asking him, but no, he really, truly loves Martha. They end up together at the end of the book. But in the film, and they, because we don't really have that storyline about the other two sisters at all. No. Howl is not in love with one of them. The other, there's no reason to have Michael and have that whole storyline. So our apprentice is now a child, and that's a great choice for a movie.
It was. And I think it was a good choice to get rid of that whole storyline, because it's such a complicated storyline.
It is. It's complicated.
And it would have, especially with the ending. The ending had so many people in it that it would have been insane. And so I understand why they stopped that storyline.
Yeah, I think that's I love all the choices that the movie makes on the whole. There's not a single one where I felt like, oh, I really missed that character. The character of what did they call it? Suleiman the Wizard.
Oh, right.
Is in the movie, it's actually two characters from the book combined into the one. One of them is Miss Fairfax, who is the wizard that the youngest sister gets sent to study with, and Suleiman the Wizard, who's a wizard that we he's just another one of these wizards who I think he disappears in the book. Anyway, there's a lot of other plots about these other people that let's just get rid of them altogether. And I think it works super well. There's also this character in the book called Mrs. Penstemon, who is the witch who taught Howl. I think that's also part of that same Suleiman character in the film. And I'm trying to think. That's Blythe Danner that voices that character in the movie.
Yes.
Another great performance.
Yeah.
And so all of that stuff, anything to do with the war, anything to do with the war, the flying machines, the bombing, which is a lot of the film. None of that is in the book whatsoever. There's also a whole storyline that takes place in Wales.
In the
where
book.
in the book where we
Yep.
meet we go to Wales and we meet Howl's family. And Howl has a whole family in the book that is not in the movie at all.
He was
In the movie,
born a Muggle.
yeah. He was born a Muggle. And yeah, in the movie, you know, he has that shed where he like his uncle gave him and the uncle died and that's his place where he goes and he's alone. But
Right.
in the book, he has a sister and like nieces and nephews and it's got a whole family. And they are also in danger from all of these witches and wizards that are after Howl. Howl, we learn in the book, has been cursed by the Witch of the Waste, just as Sophie has been cursed by the Witch of the Waste. So the whole thing where the witch is powerless and goes to live with them, like that's not in the book at all.
No.
But so there's a lot of curses to keep track of, and there's a lot. It's a lot. It's a, you know,
It's a lot.
Not a short book, and there's a lot of subplots. They're
Yeah.
very interesting in the book
Yes.
world and they're fun to follow, but I totally agree with cutting out so many almost there's not a single one of them that I watched the movie and I was like, well, what about his sister? I didn't care. I was fine. I was so happy. It was so beautiful. Like they go to that land where the little his little cabin is.
Yeah. Yeah, that was gorgeous. That was beautiful.
So
I am a little bit grumpier than you, though. I will say that I did not like the whole war thing, and I didn't like him being a bird.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's also not in the book at all.
That's not in the book, and I think that I would have wished. I really liked the story of the arc of Howl being that kind of teenagey boy winning over the women, and then as soon as they love him, he turns his back and then goes to find another. And and part of his character is that he's just not very brave. And and so watching Sophie discover and learn that he knows wizardry and he knows magic, but he's just not very brave. And I love that whole story. So I'm glad that they, you know, I would have cut out a lot of the side stories, but I really like that story. And I really like the way that Sophie was there to save her sister and not just clean the house, you know?
Right.
And, but so and I also kind of felt like, a little bit where, again, the kids, I'm really worried about the children in the theater, Margo. I thought that the bird was kind of scary.
It is a little scary, yeah.
And I was like, oh, but that's one of the things that we learned about Howl is just his heart is so good. And so anyway, so I was a little bit bummed about that. I was like, why are we having a little bit of an anti-war movie when this whole book is these themes of everything presents itself a certain way, but it's actually the opposite. And then we have another theme. I hope I'm not, going too far ahead, but we also have another theme of just accepting who you are, and I just, as a person, I just love both of those themes, and those didn't come through in the movie for me. So I'm just a little bit grumpy.
Yeah, interesting.
But I like the movie. I
felt like that was there a bit, but I see your point. Yeah, I get that. And it's true. I feel like, if I'm going to nitpick the movie, which I'll go ahead and do. Like I don't mind I like the Calcifer choice because we have the war thing going on. I think the Calcifer choice is really good and really works really well. But the whole thing with the slime, because we got rid of that, the whole part about his going out and being so vain and pursuing women and that being his whole MO, the slime thing, it makes no sense. Why is he so upset about this?
Not at all.
We could have changed the story to have it be he gets slimy about something else.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I wondered, did they have something about that and then they cut it out in the final version? Or I'm not sure. But
because it seems so random. Where in the book it kept happening,
right?
And it just made him look so much more immature,
right?
But in the movie, I was like, that's random.
Yeah, slime. Okay. But there's this whole buildup in the book of he doesn't like her moving his things around. He
Yes.
doesn't like her cleaning his bathroom because he's got all
Yes.
of his lotions and potions. His whole
Yes.
skincare regime is in a very particular order. And she messed it up, and now he's throwing this massive tantrum. So there's a lot of buildup where the slime thing makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem so out of left field. And also, in the book, even though it doesn't seem out of left field, when it happens, Sophie's like, "What is this?" She's very
Yeah.
alarmed. It's
Yeah.
described, it's very scary actually in the book. The way they describe it is terrifying. And whereas when it happens in the movie, she's like, "Oh, he's just having a tantrum."
She does say the same in the book because
she does,
Michael
but she
is
realizes that.
Yeah, and Michael and Calcifer are like, "Oh, wait. Okay, so for those of you that have not seen the movie, read the book, what happens is Howl goes and takes a bath shower and his hair turns bright red. So he comes down and starts yelling at Sophie because she's messed around with his potions. And then he squeezes green slime out of his body. And in the book, Sophie, she has this first she's horrified, absolutely, but then she's watching Calcifer and what's his face,
Michael
and
in the book.
thank you, and they're both like, "Oh, here we go, stop, calm down, you're gonna make a huge mess." And then it seems like in the book the slime goes everywhere, and Sophie's just like, "Great, I have to clean all over again. Thanks." And then she says, "Oh, he's having a tantrum. Get him up to the bath." So, and out of left field with the movie.
It is that it just seems really out of nowhere. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I think is I find unsatisfying as an adult watching this film, but as a child, it would have fazed me not at all, is we get to the end of the film and the two factions who are waging this war are like, "I guess we're going to end the war now.
Yep.
War is over." And you're like, "Wait, war's over? What?" What about all those people who died? Why is the war over? What happened? There's no like final attack of one over the other, or critical loss that somebody has suffered, or critical victory that someone has achieved. They're just like, "Oh, Hal's got his heart back. Guess the war's over."
Was it something like the war was part of the curse? I'm just trying to think that there was something about when Howl got his heart back that then he was able to go talk to I don't know. Yeah.
It was confusing.
Yeah.
But again, if I was a kid, it would not have fazed
No.
me. I forgot
"Yay."
I have one more clip I wanted to show, which is of again, this scene is so different than it is in the book. On paper, like in terms of like the action that happens, it's exactly the same. But the way that the scene feels is very different. In the book, when Sophie arrives at the castle, as we said, Calcifer is very ferocious and terrifying looking. He's much bigger. He's got it's very much about pointy flames, pointy, sharp edges and blue flames everywhere. And she says to him that she's going to make breakfast. And he's objecting, and she's like, "Listen, she gets him to bend down so she can put the pot on the fire and make breakfast. And Michael, it's not like, "Oh, wow." It's like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Who are you? Why were you able to do that?" That's because nobody can do that. Like Hal can barely even do that. How did you do that?
Right.
And it's a very, it's an important clue to the kind of power that Sophie doesn't even realize that she has yet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Whereas in the film, it's this it's what we're going to show right now. It's this kind of more cutesy little thing.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is the The breakfast scene. And
Slurping up the eggs.
apologies if this is somebody talking about the film, because again, it was very hard to get the clips.
Don't worry, I can cook. Don't you want to have some bacon and eggs?
Yeah, but we can't use the fire. Master Howl's not here. Calcifer only obeys Master Howl.
That's right, lady.
Let's get cooking.
I don't cook. I'm a hat.
I should tell Howl about our bargain. All right, Calcifer, let's get cooking.
Never should have let her in here.
It's a good fire.
She says.
I think I'd like some tea, too.
Here's another curse. May all your bacon burn.
Miss, she bullied me.
Not just anybody can do that. And you are who?
You can just call me Grandma Sophie. I'm your new cleaning lady.
2 more slices of that bacon and 6 more of those eggs.
Yummy.
Marco, get the plates.
Who hired you to clean?
Calcifer did.
Wait a second. You're all going to eat while I do all the work?
Take a seat. Which do you want? You only get one because the rest are dirty.
Brad Marco.
Thanks.
Looks like I've got my work cut out for me.
Sophie.
Yes, thank you.
Enjoy. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Even the manners are a mess in this house.
What do you have hidden in your pocket, Sophie?
What is this? Huh?
Scorch marks. How? Can you read them?
You who swallowed a falling star, O heartless man.
From the Witch of the Waste?
Your heart shall soon belong to me.
Wow, it's gone.
The mark may be gone, but the spell is still there.
I forgot about the whole thing about the spell. There's this whole section it is not short. There's this whole part of the book where Michael, again, who is a young adult, he is not a child in the book. And he is he's apprenticing with Howl, and Howl's like, do your spell homework. And Michael's like, okay. And he finds that piece of paper. He finds it, not Sophie. He finds it where his homework is supposed to be, and he doesn't understand it. And he tries to follow it. And there's this terrifying and excruciating scene where they go to try to catch it. Is it a falling star, a dying star? Remember, they're trying to save the star that's dying, and the star's like, no, it's my destiny. I have to die. He's like, no. It is the stuff of nightmares. It's so scary. It's so sad and weird. And then but it's a long sequence where they go trying to figure out this spell, Sophie and Michael. And it turns out that is not his homework. It got switched with it ended up a song. Yeah. A poem.
Song lyrics. Poems. Yeah.
And that mistakenly got brought back from Howl's sister's place in Wales. And that's how we end up in Wales. He goes back to Wales anyway, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I love the way they did that but you could see, like, how cute is that? It's not scary at all.
So cute.
I'm not afraid of Howl. I'm not afraid of any of them at all.
Nope.
I'm not even afraid about the spell, like, scorching in the table. I'm like, oh, look, he handled it. It's fine.
And there's a lovely mess that's just about to be cleaned up.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But how can you not love this movie? It's so good.
It's really good.
Do you have a preference of the book or the movie?
I very much liked the book better. I very much liked the book better. I really loved again with that theme of nothing is as it seems, and you have these stereotypes. I love the way that the at first the Scarecrow's super bad, you know, she's scared and she's running away.
Yeah.
Oh no, it turns out he's just trying to get something inside of Howl's moving castle. And then Fanny, who's the evil stepmom, she in the book turns out she's not evil. I mean, there was that weird thing of her not paying, but it also just seemed like she was just kind of, her husband died and she was just kind of trying to get her girls in the right spots, and then for some reason did not pay, you know, which then starts off the whole adventure, so it works out.
Right.
But yeah, and then Howl being dangerous, and anyway, so I loved that whole part. And I don't know, I like the character development of Howl much better.
I agree. It is a better character development. On the whole, I like, it's not bad in the movie, but it's much better, much more satisfying, you know, when you get to the end of the book, the character arcs, especially of Howl and Sophie. But everybody else too has a character arc. Calcifer does. Everybody, Michael, the sisters, the stepmom. So to me, I feel like I kind of can't even think of them as, they're so different that it's like this book I really, really loved, and I love this movie. So it's kind of a tie for me, but I'm not thinking the movie departs so often from the source material. But I enjoy the story of the movie very much. As an adult, though, I agree. I prefer the book. If you love this film, you will really enjoy the book. I really do think that's true. I think that you will be enriched by reading the book, and it will not.
And the book is quite funny.
There's a lot of funny parts in the book.
There's a lot of funny parts, and the movie was able to capture some of those. And again, the author, a scene that was not in the book but was in the movie was when Sophie is going to meet the king, to talk to the king, and in the book she goes alone. And then she meets the Witch of the Waste outside, and the Witch of the Waste says, "What are you doing here?" And Sophie says, "Oh, I'm going to meet the king." And she says, "Well, then go." So then she goes back into the castle, re-meets the king.
Just to go back in, just to keep up the facade.
Awkward.
Yeah.
You're like, I cannot believe that this character in this book is having a real life human moment of like, no, I don't want to go back in here. This is crazy. And in the book, they did it differently, but just as funny, if not funnier, was Sophie goes to the castle to go talk to the king, and the Witch of the Waste is there, and they both go up like hundreds of stairs together, and they're both
nobody helps them.
They're so old and they're so sweaty, and Sophie's carrying a dog up the stairs, and the author who did not write that scene, she said that was her favorite scene of the book.
It's
good.
The movie. It's a good scene.
She said she was just, she was laughing. So I thought, as far as just like grabbing some humor and pushing it in there, I thought that was such a great choice to make. So yeah. But I agree with you as far as like just the movie, loved it. Loved it. But knowing that there were some things that I would have done differently if I was getting paid for that job, I was a little bit grumpy, but again, just so beautiful. Just like all of the Spirited Away, all of those movies, they're just so beautiful that even if you're a kid and you have no idea, everything is just flying by you and you don't know what's happening, they're just beautiful. So yeah. So there you go.
I'm gonna call it a tie for me.
It's a tie.
So thank you for joining us for Book versus Movie again. You know, if you are not part of our Facebook group, come see us there. Just search Book versus Movie Podcast Group, I think is what it's called. And you have to ask to join, but It's pretty easy to get in. It's not hard. And if
Yeah.
you had suggestions for if you'd like to email us, my email for this is, can I remember? Book versus Movie Podcast, I believe, all spelled out. So not VS. Book versus Movie Podcast @gmail.com. And thanks
But
for.
it's better just to join the Facebook group.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
really the best
request
way.
a book. That's where you're going to get Margo's attention.
Yeah, seriously, that's the easiest way.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you for joining for this one. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me, Margo. I had a blast.
Oh, good. I'm
Absolute
glad.
blast.
I'm going to put all your stuff in the show notes.
Oh yeah, all my tiny little things.
Yes. Exactly. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Margo.
Thanks so much for joining the conversation. The Book versus Movie podcast was started in 2014 by friends Margo P. and Margo D., who lived on opposite coasts and wanted an excuse to stay in touch and read more. We sadly lost our good friend and co-host Margo D. in July of 2025. We celebrate her wit, friendship, and love of history as we continue on this digital road with you. Margo D's books Filmed in Brooklyn and Fever, The Complete History of Saturday Night Fever, are available wherever fine books are sold. Follow Margo P on social media @She's Not Your Mama, and you can email us at bookversusmoviepodcast @gmail.com. Now, if you'll excuse me, my IBS is acting up. Thanks for being here.